Breaking news, PSG's new superstar might just be the most hated man in Barcelona, all thanks to his road to redemption. In fact, he's become so good that behind the scenes, he's slowly overtaking Kylian Mbappe's throne as the club's most important player. But the question remains, can Ousmane Dembele finally live up to the hype from years back? In 2015, this young kid was taking Europe by storm. Ousmane Dembele, there's no way you won't have heard of him. The kid had everything. When he first burst onto the scene, Dembele looked like a cheat code. He was technically gifted with both feet, could dribble with ease, score goals, and was super fast. Just ask Kyle Walker. Heck, he left the Kyle Walker playing catching up in a foot race. God, that's amazing! Dembele finished his debut season at Rennes with 12 goals and 5 assists. Peep the fact that he was still only 18, and at the time, and the numbers became so insane that Dembele was being looked at as the next big prospect to come out of France. After a successful first season with Rennes, Dembele quickly became a hot shot in the market, and before anyone else could launch a proper bid for him, Borussia Dortmund swooped in, and $13 million later, he was splitting up defenses in Germany. This was a really smart move from Dembele and his team because Borussia Dortmund had a reputation for building up young talent and turning them into world-class players. At Dortmund, Dembele was going to be part of an exciting project under Thomas Tuchel that already had players like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Marco Reus in the team. But with youngsters like Dembele and Christian Pulisic, they were ripping up the Bundesliga. I mean, Bayern still won it like they always did, but Dembele had made his mark. He was part of the team that won the DFB Pokal, won the Rookie of the Season award, and finished with 31 goal contributions in 49 matches at 20. The plan must have been to keep Dembele for a couple of seasons, at least from Dortmund, but over at Barca, something was happening at the Spanish capital that was going to change Dembele's career. The 2017-18 season now, and the summer window that year was the craziest in football history. Neymar had completed a shock move to PSG for a world record $222 million, meaning Barcelona had to find a replacement ASAP. At first, all the attention was going to Liverpool's Felipe Coutinho, but the Barca board was cooking something out of the picture, and from nowhere shocked the world. I'd bet even Fabrizio didn't see this one coming. Barcelona poached Dembele from Borussia Dortmund for $105 million, making him the most expensive transfer in the club's history at the time. At Barca, Dembele was supposed to bring the same energy Neymar did, maybe even better. But you see, guys, it didn't work like that, because in his first season at the club, Dembele struggled. And it was unfortunately going to be a recurring theme for him. Just a couple of weeks in, and bang, he was out. He picked up a hamstring injury that didn't go away and missed over 20 games and 4 months of action. By the end of his first season at Barca, he only managed 24 appearances in all competitions, hitting 4 goals and 9 assists, and coming off the stunning numbers he was pulling both in France and Germany prior. This was sad. Nevertheless, Dembele still managed to make the French team to Russia that year for the World Cup and win the whole thing. But the truth about this one was that he was overshadowed by this guy, Kylian frickin' Mbappe. At the time, the comparisons between the two were tough. I mean, Dembele came on to the scene before Mbappe, and his stats were no joke too. But Mbappe was putting up similar data in Monaco and coming into the first season of both players getting big money moves to new clubs. Dembele going to Barca and Mbappe to PSG, it was a question of which French winger could hit the ground running faster at their new club. And Mbappe won this one hands down. 2018-19 now, and Dembele looked like he'd put the injury problems behind him. In La Liga, he played in 19 of the first 20 league matches of this season, only missing out once due to being left out of the team. And even though his numbers weren't exactly top tier, it was clear what Dembele brought to the team. His directness was unmatched and made him unique. Not even Messi was that fast or capable of switching from left to right easily. The general feeling was that 2018-19 was Dembele's season to grow and improve as a player. So head coach Ernesto Valverde gave him the minutes out wide until the injuries set in again. An ankle injury and a torn muscle bundle meant he missed 13 matches for the team from January to May. And if I'm being honest, if there's one moment from 2018-19 that kinda summed up Dembele's season, this was it. I don't think Messi would have let him go that easily after missing this one. Damn! Still, he won La Liga for the second time in a row, but not even Dembele's doctors would have been able to predict what would happen in the following campaign. Too many injuries. On the plus side, it did give him a lot of time to catch up on the action he'd missed from footballers, all because he hadn't hit that subscribe button like you're about to. But on the flip side, the Dembele hospital memes were in full flow. Seriously guys, his injury list from 2019-20 sounds ridiculous. A hamstring injury keeping him out for 5 games, muscular problems keeping him out for a game, a torn muscle bundle keeping him out for 13 games, and another hamstring injury that made him miss 19 games, effectively ending his season. It was so much that his teammates had to rally round in special jerseys just to support him. The injuries were starting to feel like a serious case of bad luck, but by 2020-21 Dembele was back to his talented self again. At least a standard version of it, because after playing only 9 league games that season before, he managed to stay fit and play 30 in his following campaign. Dembele ended 2020-21 with 11 goals and 5 assists in 44 matches. But in truth, his performances were on and off, and by 2021-22, he was playing on the edge. Now, the Dembele versus Mbappe debate was over. In fact, it had ended years back. While Dembele was trying to get his fitness levels up, Mbappe had become so good that he was now FIFA's cover boy for 2 years in a row. Dembele had a knee injury that kept him out of action until November 2021, and by the end of that season, hitting just 2 goals and 13 assists, it seemed like he'd had enough and wanted to call it quits. Okay, here's the deal. Dembele's contract at Barca was coming to an end, and the club still had faith in him, especially with Xavi taking over as head coach for a large part of 2022-23. But on his part, Dembele and his agent wanted better numbers that Barca simply couldn't afford. At least, that's what it looked like. But in the end, he was willing to stay. Deal done, right? Another plot twist. Now, because of the number of injuries he'd been picking up in previous campaigns, the thought of Dembele actually going a whole season largely fit seemed like an impossible idea to Barca. So on their part, they made additions of their own. Rafinha came in from Leeds United, and Lamine Yamal got promoted to the first team. And all of this must have added up in Dembele's head, because at the start of the current season, he was once again in the news making the headlines. He quit Barca. No one saw that coming. In the end, Dembele wanted a fresh start. PSG provided the opportunity, he took it, and now Dembele showing major flashes of gaining his form back. His numbers at PSG this season haven't exactly set the world on fire. 5 goals and 14 assists in 37 matches. But in reality, these are simply just numbers. And behind all this is a guy who's been key to everything good PSG has done this season. Despite having the mercurial Mbappe taking the spotlight at PSG, it's Dembele who tops the charts for being the most important ball progressor, hitting the most progressive passes for the team, and only second behind Achraf Hakimi with the most progressive passes. No one's received more progressive passes than Dembele for PSG this season. What this means is that in dangerous positions, his teammates always look to find him first, even ahead of Mbappe, because he delivers the pass before the final one. Still don't think that's impressive? In the PSG category for shot-creating actions, Mbappe has 86 contributions in this department. Dembele, my man's got 108 and has even gotten fewer game time than Mbappe. His influence has been felt everywhere on the pitch. PSG has played better with him on the field, leading many people to ask questions as to why he couldn't stay fit like this and perform at Barca. And it's all because PSG has found the solution. Now guys, at Barca, whenever he was fit, Dembele was always the main attacking threat on the wing, and Barca always looked to exploit that, meaning more game time, and in truth, less management of his situation. But now at PSG, they've managed his situation properly. In 2021, after the injury problems hit an all-time high, Dembele hired a team of physio named Jean-Baptiste Dualt and a sprinter named Salah. No, not him. Salah Gaida, to help him manage his pace and improve his condition. The problem with this was that these two were based in Paris, and sometimes keeping track of Dembele's day-to-day activities was almost impossible. But now he's in France. It's easier access, meaning better results. And Dembele's gliding again. He's been in sensational form in the latter stages of the Champions League. You might not want to say this to a Barca fan though. Yep, his 2 goals and a penalty won helped PSG knock out his former club. Mbappe may have grabbed the headlines in this one, but the real OGs know the guy who did the cooking on both legs was Dembele. Mbappe's all set to leave PSG at the end of the season, and when he departs, it kinda looks like PSG has it all figured out. They just switch to overdrive and let Ousmane Dembele take over. Whatever happens though, I'd be rooting for Dembele. I mean, I have to. He's subscribed to footballers already.